What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we are back looking at another very exciting new Transformers TCG battle card, which is going to be coming in Wave 2, Rise of the Combiners. This was revealed by the lovely Chris Van Meter over on Twitter, and check him out. Check out his Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. He's a lovely man. He is spoiling these cards for us and showing them to us, and I think he deserves to get a little bit of love for that. And the card we're going to start off with having a look at today, ladies and gentlemen, is Power Punch. Power Punch is a very, very interesting card, which, if you're not playing an aggressive deck, you're not going to like it. But if you are playing an aggressive deck, well, this could be a lot of fun then, couldn't it? First of all, we need to mention it does have an orange icon, helps you when attacking, good for aggressive decks. But what does it actually do? Well, it is an upgrade weapon, and it gives you bold free. When you're attacking, you flip 3 more battle cards. After the upgraded character attacks, scrap this card. So it's one of these which is essentially deemed to be so good that you can have it, but only for 1 turn. The big one back in Wave 1 here was Grenade Launcher, which gave you a +4 attack, but then essentially fell off, was too hot to handle, had to be dropped, etc. And we did see Reckless Charge in this set, which gave us a slightly different way of going about things. +4 attack, but instead of it falling off at the end of the turn, you had to take 3 damage. And I mean, it's very situational. Most of the time, I think I'd rather only have it for 1 turn than have to accept this. Or indeed, we got Evasive Maneuvers. I know I slow rolled you a little bit. Sorry about that. Evasive Maneuvers is very much the counterpoint to this card. Evasive Maneuvers has a blue icon and gives you tough free and scrap it at the end of the defense. Whereas Power Punch has an orange icon, gives you bold free, and falls off after you attack. So we've seen this quite a lot in Wave 2. We've seen a whole bunch of pairs of cards. This is no exception. We have a pair. But I really, really like this. Now, don't get me wrong, right? There are other ways to get bold. So Dino Chomp is an action card that gives you bold 5, but only to Dinobots, and means you have to discard your entire hand to use it. Risky, situational, but bold 5. Then let's not forget that the Metroplex deck gave us Height Advantage, which gave you bold 4, but only to Titans. Now, incidentally, we've not seen any other Titan, so at the moment it's only for Metroplex, but you know they're not going to waste a designation of Titan on a single card. It is definitely going to come back at some point, although that did have a blue icon, which we do not like, given that that really leads to defensive decks, and we're going attacking here. I mean, the main one in terms of action cards really we're looking at here is Supercharge. Supercharge gives you bold free. Cool. And it's a very standard. You can use it for any deck. You get your bold free. It's got an orange icon. It's really nice for attacking decks here. Supercharge, frankly, works. But Supercharge is an action, and we're talking about upgrades here. So how about Flamethrower? Flamethrower is probably the closest parallel we have to this at the moment. Flamethrower gives you bold 2, and it has an orange icon, and it is an upgrade weapon. So it's basically exactly the same as this, with the rather gigantic exception that Power Punch gives you bold 3, and only lasts for 1 turn, whereas Flamethrower gives you bold 2, and then goes away. And the answer here as to which one you'd rather go for is, how much do you really need the bold? And how fast do you run through your deck? If you've got a bit of draw power, and you're running through your deck pretty quickly, you can afford to play stuff like Power Punch that falls off. If you've got a slightly slower deck, then you probably need to stick to Flamethrower, because at least then it's going to stay for turn after turn. The thing is, if you use Power Punch to get bold free, it falls off and you don't find a replacement, then it becomes worse than Flamethrower, because Flamethrower gives you bold 2, and then the next turn you get bold 2, so that's 4 extra battle cards flipped. 2 turns of Flamethrower is better than 1 turn of Power Punch. So you've got to make sure here that you've got a deck which can recycle these and get them rolling and essentially keep going here. Now, we do actually have one better option than Flamethrower, and it's Power Sword. Power Sword gives you bold free and lasts longer. Downsides, it's got a blue icon, not an orange icon, and in a deck with bold, you probably want majority orange icons. There's no point flipping extra cards when attacking if you're not playing enough of the icons that you're going to hit while attacking. But the thing to remember is this is purely for melee characters. And actually, not everything's a melee character. If you are a melee character, you probably want to go Power Sword over Powerful Punch, unless you really desperately want the orange icon. But if you're in a non-melee deck, it's kind of a moot point. Just like you could potentially use Null Ray of Starscream. Null Ray of Starscream gives you bold 2 and has an orange icon and gives you +1 attack. Just so long as it's on Starscream. Well, if you're playing double Starscream, and I know Landon of TCG Rollout, good channel, check him out. I know he's played around with double Starscream, and in that deck, yeah, this is lovely. Outside of this deck, not sure how much you're actually going to use it. So the next question becomes, okay, but what Transformers are actually going to want to use bold? Now, one of the most obvious ones here whenever we talk about bold is Metroplex. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but Metroplex is kind of like the poster child for bold. I've already mentioned height advantage, which gives you bold 4. You've got Scamper that gives you bold 1, Slammer that gives you bold 1, and you've got a skill whereby you need to flip 2 white, 2 orange, and 2 blue icons, but if you do, you tap all your opponent's characters and do 1 damage to each enemy, which gives you a ridiculous advantage in the game. So clearly Metroplex is bold focused, but we can also look at Dinobots here. Dinobots are very bold focused. We could look at Dino Chomp, as we already have. We could look at Jaws of Steel, which is literally Flamethrower, but as a utility. And then, of course, we've got Grimlock himself, finally picked up that card in the trade the other day. Delighted, ladies and gentlemen, would be an understatement. I finally actually have my Dinobot deck. No printed out Grimlocks for me. And when you flip Grimlock into alt mode, you give one of your Dinobots bold free. Here's the thing, though. Do you want to play Powerful Punch in Dinobots? You're back to that Flamethrower versus Powerful Punch argument. And I think Dinobots might be one of the better decks for this, because Dinochomp makes you discard your entire hand, and then you've got Dinobot Snarl, which lets you draw 2, which is quite nice. Not to mention, we've got the new Dinobot Sludge coming in Wave 2, which lets you draw 2 cards when you attack if you've got fewer cards in hand than your opponent, so you don't need to have a 0-card hand. So actually, Dinobots, as well as having bold, they've got some decent draw power. And of course, let's not forget that the bolder you get, the more often you're going to be running through your deck, and the faster you're going to go with that. But the other cards we could look at here are cards that have skills they use while attacking. Because if you've got a skill you use while attacking, then the bolder you are, the more likely you are to pull it off. So how about something like Autobot Cosmos? Autobot Cosmos has a Redonk skill, which essentially says you get an instant KO on any Transformer you're attacking if it's got 12 stars or fewer, and you run out of deck while attacking. So the bolder you are, the more likely you are to run out of deck while attacking. And actually, Power Sword with Cosmos here is beautiful, because you might be attacking and want Power Punch, or you might be attacking with a different Transformer and go, I don't want to discard 3 extra cards, so I'm going to let Power Punch fall off and not replace it, so that I can manipulate when I run out of cards and get the skill, whereas something like Flamethrower, you always have to just flip 2 extra cards. Or we could look at something like Autobot Mirage, for instance, which has a very nice skill. I mean, firstly, when you flip it into alt mode, you get to play an action, but in bot mode, the first time you flip 3 white icons, you untap it. Bold is going to really help with that. And while we're here, let's mention Slipstream. Slipstream needs to flip 3 different icons to get +3 attack. So clearly, while attacking, getting bold, flipping those icons, probably going to be somewhat of an advantage. But I feel mean just mentioning Wave 1 characters, so why don't we give a little bit of a shout out to Dragstrip here. Dragstrip is one of these Stunticons. Cool. Combiners and all of that. And when you attack in ult mode and you flip at least one orange, one blue icon, draw 2 cards. Which of course then makes it more likely you're going to be drawing into other Power Punch. I really like this card. I am not 100% sure how much play it's going to see, and with cards like Power Sword and Flamethrower, I'm not 100% convinced we need this card. But there are going to be decks that want to play this, and there are going to be decks where they flip that 1 extra card, and they get that 1 extra damage, or maybe they flip Peace Through Tyranny and get 2 extra damage. You know what I mean? And it's the difference between winning and losing the game. If you're running through your deck faster, this becomes better, and clearly it's for attacking decks. But under those circumstances, I think there's a lot to like here. But I would very much like to know how much you like it. So please do go ahead and let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! But please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk about Transformers and other games. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.